Hello and welcome to Bella Coconut Boutique on YouTube. Today we are going to work on a pattern of how to make this sweet and snuggly little whale keychain. It is no sew, meaning that all of these pieces are done while working in the round, so you do not have to make additional pieces to attach. So these are the fun little whales I'm going to show you how to make today. To make this pattern, you're going to need a 6.5 millimeter K hook. So if your hook does not show a letter, some of them will only show a number, you'll want the 6.5 millimeter hook. You'll need needles to sew in your ends. The smaller one I use to sew in my ends, the larger one I use to attach the keychain pieces. If you choose to use stitch markers, you can use a stitch marker. Otherwise, I'll show you how I use the tail of my yarn. You're going to want a nice bulky yarn. I am going to use Chenille Home Slim from Michael's Loops and Threads brand in color white, and Sweet Snuggles Light again from Michael's Loops and Threads brand, and the color that I'm using is lavender. You'll also need some polyfill fiber filling, and if you choose to make this into a keychain, I am using long bead connector clasps that I got from Amazon. And then multicolor like claw clips that I also got from Amazon. If you would like to see the link of where I got those items, please feel free to message or leave a comment below and I will attach the link. And then I am also going to use 10 millimeter eyes, again ones that I also got on Amazon, scissors, and I do use a lighter to wear down the ends of my safety eyes. As you can see, the end of the eye is a little bit pointy, and sometimes it can come through the other side of your project inadvertently, even if you have stuffing. So I like to melt the end and flatten it. So I will show you how I do that in the pattern. All right, so to begin, we are going to start with our body color. You can use whatever color you choose for the body of your whale. I am just going to use this lavender color. So mine will be lavender and white. So to begin, you're going to work, as with many of my other projects, starting with the magic circle. If you are unaware or are new to crochet, there are some amazing YouTube videos on how to begin magic circles. If you'd like a link, please comment below and I will provide you with one so you can see how to work the magic circle. There are a few different varieties. You'll just have to find which one works for you. So beginning in my magic circle, I will do 6 single crochets into the circle. Now when I work with this yarn, I do tend to start my magic circle with slightly looser stitches so that when I pull the tail to close my magic circle, that it doesn't rip off. So once you've done your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochets into your magic circle, you're going to pull the tail to close it. And now for this part of the pattern and the rest of the pattern, I will be working in the front loop only of the stitches in the round below. So when you're looking at your stitches, you will see that there is a front loop and a back loop. You will be working in the front pieces only, going around in this pattern. So in the first round after the magic circle, in the front loops only, we are going to increase in every stitch, meaning we are going to do 2 single crochets into the front loops of each of the 6 stitches from the round before. So by the end of this round, we will have 12 single crochets. That is 7 and 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So here is where you may decide to start using a stitch marker. If you choose so, you can use your stitch marker and move it around every time you go around. Or I like to just take the tail from the start, tuck it through, and I use that as my stitch marker. Now you will notice that this style yarn is very fuzzy and it will break off. And something that I recently learned is if you just take a quick little light to the end to seal it, it won't come off. And I've been using that now when I'm doing my projects so that when I pull the tail through, all these little fuzzies aren't going everywhere. So if that's something that you find might be helpful for you, feel free to use it. So now we're going to start round 3. Round 1 was our 6 single crochets into the magic circle. Round 2 was the increases in each of those 6 stitches, front loops only. So now we have 12. And the third round we are going to do increases every other stitch. So we're going to single crochet into the first stitch, then increase into the next. Again, front loops only. And we're going to do that 6 times around until we get 18 stitches. So that was 3. Now we're going to single crochet for 4. We'll increase in the next stitch, 5 and 6. Again, front loops only. Single crochet, increase, that gives us 8 and 9. Single crochet, front loop, increase, there's 12. We're going to single crochet and then increase, there's 15, excuse me, and single crochet and increase in the last stitch. That gives us 18 single crochets in this round. For the next 2 rounds, you're going to single crochet in the front stitch of every prior row stitch around. Again, so the next 2 rounds are just going to be a single crochet in each stitch. So you will have 18 single crochets in each round for the next 2 rounds. Feel free to pause your video and meet me back when you have done your 2 rounds of 18 single crochets. Okay, so now we're finishing up the last 3 stitches of round 5, and I am going to begin my tail and my fins in round 6. All right, so we have our magic circle round, our increase to 12 round, our increase to 18 round, and 2 rows of 18, 2 rounds of 18 single crochets. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds worked. In the 6th round, again, this is where we're going to start making our tail and our side fins. So in the first stitch, we are going to slip stitch into the first stitch. So we're going to put our yarn through the front loop only, yarn over, pull through, and we're just going to pull right back through that first stitch. And we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are going to work into the 3rd chain from the hook. So we have 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into this one with a half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook through that loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. The next stitch, we're just going to do a single crochet. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we're going to slip stitch right back into the same stitch where we started our tail. And we're going to repeat. We're going to do this piece again to make the other part of the tail fin. So we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are going to do a half double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook in that 3rd chain from the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. We're going to single crochet into the next stitch. And again, we are going to slip stitch right into that base stitch. So now we have worked our tail. We are now going to do 4 single crochets to work towards our next fin. So front loops only. We're going to do 4 single crochets, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to start our fin in that 5th stitch. So we're going to slip stitch into that front loop only, chain 3, and we're going to do a single crochet in the 2nd chain from the hook and that 3rd chain from the hook. And just like the tail, we are going to slip stitch right back into the base. And that gives us our little side fin. We're going to single crochet into the next 7 stitches. Again, front loops only. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you should have 5 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your round. In this next stitch, we are going to slip stitch again, and we're going to do his other side fin. So slip stitch and chain 3. We're going to single crochet in the 2nd chain from the hook and the 3rd. We're going to slip stitch right back into the base of that fin, and we're going to single crochet into the remaining 4 stitches. Now when you get to that last stitch, this is where we're going to do our color change. So when I change colors, I start the stitch with my body color. So I'll insert in the front loop only, yarn over, pull through, and instead of yarning over to pull through to finish the stitch, I will change to my white yarn and finish. So I'm going to change to my white yarn and finish the stitch. So now we have the body of the whale. We have his tail or her tail or its tail or their tail, however you choose to identify your whale, but they have their tail and each side fin. So now we're going to be working round 7. And in this round, we're going to be kind of working behind the tail and the side fins to sew up the body. So we're going to work in the 1st chain, so that initial slip stitch from the tail. Might be a little tight, again, because it is a slip stitch. So we just need to get our hook under there. All right, and we are going to single crochet around in each of the 18 stitches. So at the end of this round, we will also have 18. So because this stitch is the same one that both of these fins were worked in, we're going to tuck them out of the way, and we're going to work into that 1st single crochet after the tail. So we already have one single crochet. This is 2. I do try to tuck my colored tails underneath as I'm going around, just to keep them secure inside the body. All right, there's 4. 5. We're going to do the same thing. That stitch right in front of the fin might be a little tight because it is a slip stitch. So we're at 6. We're going to go around the fin and into the first single crochet after. Now, if you're finding that it's too tight, sometimes what I'll do is instead of going with the head of my hook, I go with the actual hooked part. So sometimes I will go in and kind of slip it under. So if you're ever finding that it's tough to get in that loop, feel free to do it that way. So there's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're going to go around and we should have 4 stitches left, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So we're going to go into this one right there. So we have 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So this is the point where I add my eyes. Now, depending upon how you want your whale to look, you can put your eyes really however you want. I choose to put my eyes kind of to the sides by the fin. If you would like them more towards the front, you certainly can. So for this, I like to go up from the fin and in 1. So it'll be between rounds 4 and 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I go up from my fin and in 1. And then I go over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I put my other eye in front of his other fin. So this will give it so that his eyes are more to the side of his body, or her body, or its body. If you choose to have the eyes more towards the front, feel free to move the stitches in 1 from where I do it. Again, I tend to have my eyes a little wider apart so that the eyes are more on the side of the head. So once I've figured out where I want to place my eyes, I will flip my work inside out to attach the backs of the safety eyes. And you want to make sure that you push them on to snap them tight. Now from here, you can choose to leave your eyes as is. I use my lighter, and this is where I will kind of melt down the eyes. So I will light it, and you'll see it kind of bubbles. And then I will push it flat. This will help make it a flat button versus a point, so that this won't stick through the other side. This is more flat. And it also covers the full opening of the snap closure so that this can't slide back off. But as with any toy that you make for kids, just keep an eye on it regularly. Check it to make sure that they're not coming apart. And just do your due diligence to keep them safe. So now I have 2 flat backs. And after I've attached my eyes, I will begin to close up the whale. So the first round to close, we are going to do a single crochet in the first stitch and decrease. Now I like to do the invisible decrease, where I go through the front loop, turn it around and go through the front loop of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through both of those, yarn over, and finish that single crochet. If you choose to do your decreases different, you are more than welcome to. That is just how I do my decreases and how I will be doing them in this pattern. So we've done one set of decrease, which is the single crochet, decrease. We're going to do that 6 times, a single crochet, then decrease around, and that will leave us 12 stitches at the end of this. Okay, and that was the 12th stitch of this first round of decreases. Now the last round is going to be a decrease into every 2 stitches. So we're going to bring the 12 stitches down to 6. So I'm going to do my magic or invisible decrease until I get to the 5th one. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then this is where I will stuff my whale. So using polyfill fiber filling, I am going to stuff this little whale up. Now you can choose how much stuffing you put in. If you want your whale a little more firm, feel free to add more stuffing. If you like your whale to be squishy, don't stuff them as full. So this one is really kind of squishy. I'm going to add a little bit more. And once you've got your whale as stuffed as you'd like them, feel free to finish that last stitch to close up the belly, that last decrease. Then I slip stitch into and under both loops of the next stitch. So I will slip stitch again, and I cut my yarn to finish. Now, if you want to try to keep the ends at bay, meaning not having all the fuzzies go everywhere, this is where I would suggest just giving a little nick with your lighter. I'll show you why. If I don't do it, I get fuzzies kind of coming off of the yarn. So I will give him a little quick nip with the lighter, and then I will sew him up. You may choose to sew or close your whale however you like. I'm going to show you how I like to shut them. I will take my needle and go back under that same stitch that I just did the slip stitch in, and that just helps pull the slip stitch under so it's not a bump. And then I'm going to weave under and through, just back and forth through the 6 loops, so all the way around. There's number 5 and number 6, and then gently pull close, and then that will close up the belly of your whale. And then feel free to weave in your ends however you like. I just tend to go under a bunch of stitches and just go back and forth several times. So now I will switch directions and go the other way, kind of like a little bob and weave with my tail. And then for good measure, I will go back through. And now when I get to a point where I'm happy with where my last row of hiding my stitches is, I just kind of push my needle through, kind of pull through the other side. I will squish it down a little bit and then trim. And then clean it up. And that is it. That is how I make my cute and fluffy little whale. Now, if you choose to leave it like this, as just like a little handheld toy, you certainly can. If you plan to make it into a keychain, this is where I will add the keychain pieces. So I will kind of find the center-ish, which tends to be right under these loops from the starting circle. And I will go under. Ooh, I use the bigger needle for this. So I will slide it under, and then I just put a few of the balls from the chain through, and then slide it through and out the other side. And then I put my hook on. I like to have the clasp, the opening towards the back. So I will line it up so that the hook, the clasp part, the opening is towards the back before I finish it. So I'll put the balls through and close. And that is it. That is how I make my whale keychain. If you like this video, please like and comment below. Feel free to share and subscribe. I always love hearing your comments, your questions. I love helping. So if there's anything that you're confused on or you need a little more help with, please feel free to comment below. I do check them and I do respond. But if you like this video and you want to see more, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell for notifications when more videos post. And I am so thankful for each and every one of you that joins me on this fun crochet journey to making cute and stuffy little animals that you can share with others or keep for yourself. Again, thank you for joining me at Bella Coconut Boutique on YouTube, and I will see you next time. Bye.